to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. And in this video, I am going to talk about an off-the-wall theory I had after I made the video yesterday of Matt Judon and after I did some research on how the comp picks work. Now, I had some basic knowledge, but I did a little more further research on it. And I had an off-the-wall theory. And some people may call me crazy, but I want you to hear my reasoning out throughout this video before you comment, before you call me crazy. I think under the right circumstances, it may be more beneficial to actually look to for a tag and trade scenario rather than to bring one of these guys in on a 5-year deal. Now, like I said, it has to be the right scenario. It seems to be becoming more and more increasingly popular for teams to look to trade their edge rushers rather than sign them to a 5-year deal. They tag them and they trade them. It happened 3 times last year. It happened with Frank Clark, it happened with D. Ford, and it happened with Clowney. Now, by no means am I saying that it's smarter to sign a free agent than to tag and trade somebody for the price that was given up for Frank Clark. Frank Clark, they surrendered a late first and a late second to get him from the Seattle Seahawks. Not doing that. In the other scenario, it was a second-round pick to bring in D. Ford for the San Francisco 49ers, and then the 49ers signed him to a long-term extension. I'm probably not doing that either. And in the video, I said that, obviously, why am I giving anything up when I could spend money in free agency? But by spending money in free agency, I'm going to explain what you're losing if you sign somebody to a 5-year deal rather than doing what the Seahawks did last year. And this is what the Seahawks did, as I said in the video. Now, I'm not saying the Giants can be able to do this, but if they were able to do this exact scenario with one of these top-tier pass rushers, whoever it may be, whether it's Matthew Judon, whether it's Clowney, any of these guys. This was the trade that the Seattle Seahawks were able to orchestrate. They were able to get Clowney for Jacob Martin, Barkevious Mingo, and a 2020 third-round pick. Now, let's just say the Giants they sent them 2 depth players. Name the depth players, the guys that don't play much on the roster. They get a little bit of playing time because that's basically what those 2 players are. And a third-round pick. Now, of course, they don't have a third-round pick in this year's draft because they traded him. But let's say it was the 2021 third-round pick. Or even the 2021, let's say the comp pick and an additional 4th. Okay, let's say they gave them their 4th and their comp pick for and 2 depth players for said player. For the sake of this exercise, let's just say it's Matthew Judon, the edge rusher I was talking about yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna explain why that deal may make more sense. Or let's just say you give up a 2021 third and your comp pick. Let's say I was willing to go that far along with the 2 depth players. The reason that it makes more sense to me, in my opinion, if you were able to orchestrate the same deal or a similar deal to what the Seattle Seahawks did, first reason is you're not making a commitment unless you sign him to the extension like the Kansas City Chiefs did, but the Seahawks did not do that. Clowney is still set to hit the free agency market, and we'll see if the Seahawks let him do that. But you're not making a long-term commitment to a guy that's going to be 28 years old. You're making a short-term commitment. You're getting him on the franchise tag. You're letting him play out the year. And then you have the ability to either tag him for a second straight year, or to let him walk again. And he's projected to make $16.3 million if he's franchised. And then the Giants would have the ability to then franchise him a second year, in which he'd make about $19.3. Because I looked into Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins got about a $3.5 million raise when the Redskins tagged him a second year. So it would be something comparable. Now, of course, he could threaten to hold out, and that everything could be void. But if the Giants were able to do that, wouldn't it make more sense to not have to commit 5 years, to have to only commit 2, and pay a guy an average salary of about $17.5 to $18 million a year, and then have the ability to let him go, get a comp pick for him, and in addition to that, let's say you get a third-round comp pick for him when you let him walk after this year, if you only keep him for 1 year. In addition to that, you don't bring back Marcus Golden if you bring in Matt Judon, because you already brought in your pass rusher. You let Golden walk, and you get a comp pick for him because you're not signing Matt Judon. You're trading for him. So you're still getting your 3rd or 4th round comp pick that would be compensated for Marcus Golden, which would kind of negate the loss of the comp pick. And you'd have the ability to get a comp pick for letting Judon walk the following season, or have the ability to franchise tag him and still get him for under market value, because these edge rushers are going to command $20 to $21 million a year. And a guy like Yannick is going to get $21 million, $20 million a year on a 5-year deal with a ton of guaranteed money, and he's going to strap your cap space. So that is why, in my opinion, after I thought about it, I think it makes more sense to look for a scenario like that if the Giants were able to do it. And being that the Ravens are looking for a tag and trade scenario, according to what has come out by ESPN, and maybe other teams will look to do this, like I said, this is becoming a more frequent thing over the last couple of years. Last year specifically at that position, maybe if the Giants can get him for the right price, maybe it makes more sense. Even if it's for, say, a second-round pick in 2021. Let's just say it was the 45th overall pick. You're still going to get compensated for Marcus Golden by letting him walk. You're going to get compensated for Judon if you let him walk, or you can sign him to the contract extension, but you're going to get, we'll say, a third and a fourth comp pick, which almost negates the second-round loss, and you're not committing 5 years and risking injury, risking a lack of progression in play. As much as I like Yannick Ngakoue, the guy's been very good. He hasn't been great. You're going to overpay, much like we did for Nate Solder. And the name of the game when it comes to acquiring players in the NFL is short-term deals. And what you're getting in this scenario is basically a guy who's going to make an immediate impact. He's going to improve your defense. Judon's very good against the run and the pass, or whoever you bring in. All these guys are very talented. And you're not committing 5 years. You're committing 1 year with the ability to potentially commit 2 if you franchise tag him a second year, or you could then flip him. You could do the same thing the next year that the Ravens are doing. You could franchise tag him and trade him if he doesn't want to play for your team. And to me, it makes sense. It's almost like a rental player, and you're not giving up that much. Now, am I giving up a first-round pick? No. I'd entertain a second in 2021. But I thought about it after the fact. I said, you know what? That might make more sense rather than committing 5 years to a top-tier edge rusher. And maybe you guys think I'm crazy. But that's my honest opinion. And of course, it would have to be the right circumstance. This is theoretical. This is not set in stone. This is not what will happen. But if I was a general manager, that is the type of scenario I would be looking for in free agency. Because like I said, the best teams don't make long-term commitments, or they don't make multiple long-term commitments to free agents, especially when they're not slam dunks. To me, Yannick Ngakoue is good. He's not great. Everything you read about the guy, he struggles a little bit in coverage. He struggles a little bit in guarding the run. He's great at getting after the quarterback. He's great at stripping sacks. And I know we are starving for that next edge rusher. And I'm not going to cry if we bring him in or someone else in via free agency. But this may be the smarter and more prudent approach if it presents itself. So I just wanted to give my thoughts on that topic and let you guys know where I stood and under a certain circumstance, why I think it might actually be a smarter approach than bringing in a guy on a 5 or 6 year contract. That's just my thoughts on it. I'd like to get your guys' thoughts in the comments below. As always, if you like what you watch, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.